Up, we have Radha Paudel, PhD, a lifelong rebellion for dignified menstruation from Nepal. Radha trained as an anesthetic assistant nurse before becoming an author and activist. She founded the Global South Coalition for Dignified Menstruation and also initiated International Day of Dignified Menstruation on 8th December since 2009, which is marked in over 56 countries since 2022. She writes books around dignified menstruation in Nepali and English as well. Our first speaker is Dr. Radha Paudel, who's going to be talking about something that affects half of the world's population, the impact of climate change on the menstrual ecosystem. This is a crucial issue, and we can't wait to hear what Dr. Paudel has to say about it. Dr. Paudel, it's all yours.
Hello. Namaste. Salam alaikum and greetings everyone. Thank you very much for having me. You may find my presentation a little bit critical. Please bear with me. Due to time constraint, I could not explain everything. And I will try to be very brief. Why it is not working? The Global South Coalition is a global network changing the narratives around menstruation from 5 days bleeding to life cycle approach. And if any of you like to get the membership, it is available. The link available over the website, and it is free and cost. Those who are following me through the social media, you can find this kind of pictures already. We all know that we cannot imagine any place without having the menstruators. No matter where we are working, everywhere you will find the menstruators. Menstruators means those who born with the uterus and ovaries. So in this connection, the menstrual discrimination, Global South Coalition for Dignified Menstruation defined is an umbrella term which includes the taboos, shyness, stigma, restrictions, abuses, violence, deprivation from services and resources associated with the menstruation throughout the life cycle of the menstruators. It is a gender-based violence, violation of the human right. It is a very complex. It has been practicing all over the world in different forms, names, and the magnitude. Climate change, you all are experts, so I don't like to go ahead. So these are the few examples. You can see Australia, Europe, United Kingdom, Asia, North America, South America, everywhere. The menstrual discrimination has been practicing with the different names and forms. And if you like to go in detail, you can find this book online, Dignified Menstruation, a Practical Handbook. And with the same idea, if you like to keep here and analyze it, you'll surprised by yourselves. Where is your right to dignity, right to food, right to participation, right to freedom, and so many rights? While examining the menstrual discrimination, whatever you have been practicing, you means the global community. And if we see this kind of menstrual discrimination through the lens of the human right, you can see, like, for example, if there is a silence or ignorance about the menstruation, that means it is a violation of the dignity, equality, freedom, non-discrimination, shelter, food, which all are the fundamental human rights, maybe for many of you, according to your constitution and also the International Human Rights Declaration. I don't like to go all details. It is easily understood what I'm trying to say. And this is a very critical slide. You see the menstruators feel safe, free, equal before knowing something about the menstruation, as like the boys or non-menstruators. And when she knew something about menstruation from movie, from media, and she's a little bit insecure, but the non-menstruators constantly feel safe, free, superior, and powerful. And when the menstruators have a first menstruation, then she feel more insecure, more inferior, more control, more powerless. And at the meantime, the non-menstruators continuously going up. And this is how we define that the menstrual discrimination construct the power and perpetuate the patriarchy. The same idea, but in different ways. Because of this kind of change, the home is not safe globally. Everywhere, menstruators are experiencing different kinds of violences, but UN says one in out of 3, 1 woman have been experiencing the sexual and physical violences. But we said, we means the Global South Coalition claim that it's not true, because the even to acknowledge the menstrual discrimination is a form of violence. The same idea again, this menstrual discrimination systematically impact on the life at the life of the menstruators throughout the life cycle from home to tomb. You can see in the picture. These are the few examples only, because it depending on the context, culture, wherever the menstruators are, they have been experiencing the systemic discrimination throughout the life cycle because of having menstruation. And symptomatically, they experience the different kind of discrimination during menstruation, perimenopause, menopause, pregnancy, etc. And these are the few questions I really like to leave on you. And if we see the menstrual discrimination and the climate change in terms of the how, where, who, when, which, the climate change is getting a little bit attention at the global level compared to the menstrual discrimination. Because of the menstruation, this universe is moving forward, exists indeed, and no one talk about it. And if we go very critically, in terms of the situation exaggerated because of the climate change, for example, malaria, because of the systemic impact due to the menstruation, the menstruators are delay in health seeking, and in terms of the symptomatic, the pregnant women 3 times more riskier due to malaria. So these are the few examples. How does the menstrual discrimination and the sexual and reproductive health are very close, and then how without dismantling the menstrual discrimination, we could not achieve the climate change, or we cannot achieve the sexual and reproductive health. This is very, very serious issue, and globally we think that the menstrual the gender norms define the menstrual discrimination, but Global South Coalition claim that no. Menstrual discrimination construct the gender norms. And this is the very high time we need to think very critically. And most of the organizations research claim that because of the not having the paired and facilities in schools, the girls' educations are interrupted, and they are not continuing their education. But we strongly believe that the girls or menstruators constantly experiencing different kinds of conflict, dispute, stress at home, at school, and at community, because they have been following different kinds of menstrual discrimination in 24 hours for 5 days. That means their learning and educations interrupted for 5 days in a month. That means 60 days in a year. And this is how they fail in a class, drop out from schools, and eventually they trap on child marriage. So those who are working on ending child marriage without incorporating the menstrual discrimination, they cannot achieve that already seen in different intervention. Global South Coalition examined the 3 countries which has the highest rate of child marriage, like Bangladesh, India, and Niger. None of the while this explaining about the drivers for child marriage, there is no menstrual discrimination, and while examining the intervention, there is no intervention about the menstrual dignity or dismantling the menstrual discrimination. So this is how the menstrual discrimination is missing while analyzing the issue, and the dialogue on menstrual dignity is missing in intervention. If you like to have a detailed report, you can find in the website. My colleagues will share the link in chat box. And those who are working on around sexual and reproductive health, they keep claiming that, oh, we have been working on dignified menstruation for long. But we, Global South Coalition, claim that no. We keep talking. It's a kind of, no matter where we have been working, family planning, safe motherhood, or sexual aversion, safe abortion, or safe infertility, or reproductive cancer, the menstruation is everywhere, but there is nowhere, because no one talk about the menstrual discrimination and its impact at immediate and the long term. So this is how menstruation is nowhere, but menstruation is everywhere. And that kind of things we need to accept. Many of the scholars are not ready to accept it. And those friends who are working around the comprehensive sexual education, if we go through the eight principles or concept, there is no menstrual discrimination at all. Those leaders or project leaders have a positive mindset or proactive towards the menstrual dignity. They incorporate intentionally. Otherwise, there is no specific space for the menstrual dignity. And again, it's a confusing whether the menstrual discrimination construct the gender norms or gender norms construct the menstrual discrimination. It's a very confusing. You can see from this concept, which is developed by the group of the people who are working around the comprehensive sexual education. And few organizations, few of my colleagues claim that, oh no, we have been distributing the menstrual products. That is why we are working on menstruation and mitigating the climate change. And this is also not true, because the plastic contained menstrual products, no matter whether they burn it or dump it or any kind of mode they have been using, it contributed to the burden to the planet. You can see the examples. And then Global South Coalition believe that for taking care of the climate and environment and improving the sexual and reproductive health, the 3P approach should follow. That means the person, it should be the right to choice and no discrimination while using the product. And second P, planet, no any kind of burden to the planet. And the pocket, that means the locally produced, accessible, affordable product with standards and quality. And none of the international human rights declarations explicitly talk about the menstrual discrimination or menstrual dignity. Last year, we presented in CSW, and we keep sharing this kind of findings wherever possible. These are the few examples. Even the Child Rights Convention or Sustainable Development Goals, we can link indirectly, but there is no space for the menstruation. And in this connection, dignified menstruation, the holistic approach is a solution. This is the state free from any forms of menstrual discrimination, including taboos, stigma, shyness, abuses, restriction, violence, deprivation from resources and services associated with the menstruation throughout the life cycle of the menstruation. Here we need to think about the systemic impact and symptomatic impact, as I shared earlier. And then challenges. We all preaching about the acknowledgement of the stories and the leadership of the leaders or survivors from the Global South, but in practice we are not doing. And those who are working in the Global South, these colleagues and organizations also heavily colonized with the mindset, and they just follow whatever they assigned in terms of the money or funding. And we constantly facing the zero funding, and of course, because of the funding, we compromises the research, publication, intervention at various levels. And in conclusion, dignified menstruation is not just about the 5 days of the bleeding or issue related with the poverty or illiteracy. Is not also confronting any religion, ethnicity, country, or region. It is an innovative and holistic approach to dismantle all forms of menstrual discrimination. We strive to challenge patriarchy. We believe dignified menstruation is everyone's business because it is a matter of the human rights for over 50% of the population in this planet in all settings. And this is why please put the dignified menstruation at center as a cross-cutting issue, because you cannot imagine the place without the menstruators. And then have a dialogue along with the research. And if you like to know more about Global South Coalition for Dignified Menstruation, or the areas or activities, or if you like to speak or participate as a speaker, as a moderator, please reach out to us. And there are the few books available in Amazon, and also few book chapters we contributed. Thank you very much.